Hello, are you there? Hello, everyone. Hi, thank you so much for coming today. Hello, let me know if you're there. I'm just looking at, whether people are joining right now. And just let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me, if everything's all right. Okay. And I'm really, really happy to see you today. And I hope you've got something to drink. Okay. I hope you've got a cup of tea. I've got my cup of tea. As always, I drink the same thing really because I really like my tea with a dash of milk. So just a splash of milk, black tea, the English way, right? So black tea, strong tea. I really like my tea strong with just a splash of milk, and it's lovely. It's so good. If you have never had tea like that before, okay, if you've never tried the English way, okay, please try it. It's amazing. It's so good. It's so comforting. It's just, yeah, it's lovely. Hi, everyone. Hello, good evening. Yeah, you can see me, you can hear me. Hello, everyone. Karen and Anna and another Anna, okay. Melania as well, Carolina, Evko, Tusia. Yes, sorry, I can't read the name. SSFEGFT. Hello. Kinga, Agnieszka, Sabina. Hello. Yes, I'm really glad you're here with me today. And I'm really happy you've joined me because we've got something quite exciting today. Martyna, Grażyna, George, hello. Oh, lovely. People are joining from different places. So I'm really happy you're here with me today because today we're talking about something really interesting and fascinating, you might say. Obviously pronunciation is fascinating for me because I can see how it changes everything, how it changes your English. And, remember when I talk about pronunciation, I talk about learning pronunciation in order to be understood, in order to communicate with other people, right? And also to feel good about your own English, okay? Because if you like the way you sound in English, you're going to be more comfortable speaking it, okay, and communicating with other people. But the main goal, the ultimate goal is to communicate with people, to talk to them, to be able to exchange ideas, talk about your passions and work and life in general, right? So we're not talking about learning any particular accent in any way. We're not talking about sounding like a native speaker. That's never my goal, okay? But if you want to sound like a native speaker, with any particular accent, that's doable as well. But when I teach pronunciation, I teach it for communication, okay? So that's my goal. And yes, so I'm really happy you're here with me today. And we're going to be talking about something that I think a lot of you have been wondering about for a long time, okay? So I assume you know English, yeah? You know English, you've studied it for years probably, but when you speak, it just doesn't sound the way you want it to, okay? So today I'm going to tell you exactly why that is, okay? And what you can do about it as well, okay? So first, before we get into the reasons, I want you to check in with you first, okay? So I'm going to show you a few statements and I want you to think honestly. Does it sound like you, okay? Does it sound like me? So the first one is you sometimes avoid certain words because you're not sure how to pronounce them. Does it sound like you? You avoid certain words. Native speakers sound too fast as well. Your English feels a bit textbook and nobody really taught you pronunciation. Does it sound like you? What do you think about it? Okay, so I can see here, sadly, yes. That's the case for many people, okay? I know you well, believe me. I know you well because I've been working with people like you, and some of you personally, I've been working with you for years, okay? So I know what people are struggling with when it comes to pronunciation. So a lot of people avoid certain words and they use safer words instead, yeah? So instead of saying something like available, for example, they might say, I'm free, Yeah, which is fine as well. It's a communication strategy, but sometimes you want to use those words, but you avoid them because you're just not sure how to pronounce them. Yeah. Now, sometimes you feel that native speakers speak too fast. Yeah, your English is a bit more textbook, right? So when you listen to a native speaker, you just feel like they speak too fast. They, link all the words together. It just sounds like one long word, right? A sentence might sound like just one word without any breaks in between words. And the truth is that people don't usually teachers don't usually teach pronunciation at school. Okay, so that's the reality for many of us. That's the reality for me as well. When I was learning English, when I was in primary school, when I was in secondary school, I was never really taught pronunciation as such, right? So we learned some words. We obviously focused on the TH sounds, because that's always the case, even though the TH sounds are not the most important sounds in English. But, I never got a system like with grammar. With grammar, we always have these systems, right? So we go through tenses and we learn present simple to express habits, for example, right? Then we learn present continuous to express the current action that we're doing, right? Then we have present perfect, past perfect, all these grammar constructions which form a system. But no one has ever really taught me pronunciation as a system, right? This is why I do it now, because any language is really a combination of three things. Yeah, we've got the grammar, which is very important. We've got the vocabulary, very important as well. And then we've got the pronunciation. So we need the pronunciation in order to be able to say things, right? To communicate. So that's really, really important. If you're not planning to speak a language, you don't need pronunciation, right? But if you want to speak it, and I assume that you want to speak it, you need pronunciation. That's it. And you don't need perfect pronunciation, but you need good, understandable pronunciation, okay? And now the last thing I assume about you, okay, people who've come to this webinar, I assume that deep down, you know that your English could sound so much better with the right training, okay? You just haven't found the right approach yet. If we have some of my pronunciation course participants, obviously they found it, but if any of that resonated with you, you're exactly in the right place, okay? So you're here and I'm gonna explain certain things to you that probably, maybe, perhaps, you've never heard before, okay? I can show you the way. That's basically what I'm planning to do today, right? Okay, so let me just take a look at the comments, because I switch off the comments, okay, when I speak, because I get easily distracted, unfortunately. So let me just take a look. Yes, so people saying here, so Sabina says here, nobody was teaching me pronunciation. Yeah, me neither. So that's that's the situation that's familiar to many of us. So yes, let's just dive in, because I'm really trying very hard to just stick to 1 hour. Okay, I don't really want to go over, because I know you're busy, I'm busy as well. So let's just do it. Let's just do it together. Okay. Now, so the situation is completely fixable, right? You don't need to start learning English from scratch. You don't need to move to England. You don't need, perfect hearing, right? You don't need any musical training, right? You just need to understand what's actually going wrong and then train in the right way. And that's exactly what we're going to do today, okay? Now, let's get into it, right? You know English, yeah? You really do. So why don't you sound the way you want to? There are 3 reasons, okay? Now, what's the fundamental thing to understand is that English has a completely different sound system, okay? That's the core. That's the core of it. And if you want to really, I really want you to take it in. I really want you to understand it. English has a completely different sound system from Polish. Not slightly different, completely different. Yeah? This is the sentence I want you to remember from today. Everything else we talk about today is basically an extension of this sentence. English has a completely different sound system. Okay? So, what we're going to talk about today is 3 reasons why you don't sound in English the way you want to. The first one is hearing, okay? The first one is hearing, the second one is imitation, and the third one is automation, okay? So these are the 3 things that need to happen for you in order for your pronunciation to truly change, okay? Most people are missing all 3. Okay, they just don't know how to practice their pronunciation, what to do in order to sound better in English. So let's go through them one by one. Okay, now reason number 1 is that your brain has Polish ears. Okay, so that's the reason number 1. Your brain hears Polish sounds. Now, I know that, this might sound a bit strange because you're listening to English. So why would your brain hear Polish? Yeah. So let me explain. Okay. Let me explain. Now, your brain has been wired since you were a child, yeah, to process sounds through the Polish phonetic system. Polish has about 30 something sounds, right? English has about 44 sounds. That means that there are English sounds that simply don't exist in Polish. And your brain doesn't know what to do with them. Your brain doesn't have a slot for them, yeah? So what does it do when it hears an English sound that doesn't exist in, when it hears an English sound that doesn't exist in Polish, it just finds the nearest Polish sound and uses that instead, okay? So let's take a look at these pairs here. We've got the first 2 words. The first pair is her and hair, right? 2 different sounds. Now, completely different sounds in English, but to a Polish ear, they can sound almost the same, right? Because we're just hearing Polish has just one sound, right? But English has and also and also and also right? There are so many sounds that could sound potentially like the Polish sound, right? But they're different sounds and they can change the meaning of a word. So obviously we can understand the words from context most of the time, but sometimes it causes a bit of a confusion, right? So if you say, let's go to the next pair, okay? So we've got bird, czyli ptak, bird, and bed, Now, I want you to repeat after me, okay? So treat it like training, okay? I'd like you to imitate what I'm saying right now, okay? Do your best. So try to say the sound, bird. Now, łóżko, bed. Can you see what's happening with my mouth as well? It changes its shape, right? So, yeah? 2 different vowel sounds. Now, in Polish, we don't have these distinctions, so the brain just picks the closest thing, right? Let's take a look at the next one. We've got spot and sport. Spot, sport, spot, sport. I hope you're saying these words with me, okay? I want you to practice. I want you to feel real difference, okay? So, spot, sport, spot, sport. Now, there's really a tiny difference in the sound, right? In the vowel sound, and or, yeah? The difference isn't massive, but it matters. And it matters in terms of, how other people are going to understand you. Now, let's take a look at the last line, okay? So we've got 3 different words and 3 different sounds in there, okay? So we've got cat, cut, cart. Cat, cut, cart. 3 different sounds, but they can sound like the Polish a sound. So sometimes when people are learning English, they sometimes write English words using Polish letters, right? And they just write cat. But we don't know which word it is. We don't know which word they meant, yeah? So it's really important to remember about those differences. Obviously, if you care about pronunciation and you want to have great pronunciation, yeah? So if your brains hear them all the same, you won't be able to understand other people properly, and also you'll produce them all the same, yeah? So when you try to pronounce these sounds, yeah, and these words, you're going to pronounce them the same way, and that's when communication breaks down, yeah? So that's important to remember. Now, let's just try very quickly those sentences, okay? Now, we've got these words, her hair, her hair. I really like her hair. Her hair. Say it with me. I really like her hair. Her hair. Yeah. Let's take a look at the next one. Bird and bed. Bird, bed. The bird pooped on the bed. The bird pooped on the bed. Yeah? Hope you're saying these sentences, even though this one's ridiculous, obviously, but possible. Yeah, possible. Okay, let's try this one, okay, with spot and sport. The spot for the sport is over there. Once again, the spot for the sport is over there. Okay, good. And the last one, cat, cut, cart. Cat, cut, cart. The cat cut the cart. Yeah, so when we say it fast, it's even more difficult, but we're going to talk about it in a minute, okay? It's quite important as well. So here's my favorite example, okay? So I want you to listen to this example. I want you to listen to this sentence. It actually caused a bit of a drama, I want to say, on Instagram and on TikTok, because I posted a video, a short reel about the TH sounds, yeah? And the way we pronounce the word złodziej i zęby in English, right? So we say thief and teeth. Yeah, so we've got the TH sounds in there. And some people made a comment like this. So it's basically thief, free, teeth. Yeah, but it's not. It's this thief has 3 really nice teeth. Yeah, so we've got the TH sounds. So obviously the TH sounds don't exist in Polish. So what happens? The brain replaces it with the nearest Polish sound, and usually it's a f or t. And you end up with this thief has 3 really nice teeth. So that's not ideal, right? You might not even notice that you're doing it because it's a habit. You might be saying the f sound without even noticing it, okay? Before we go any further, I want to check the comments, so just bear with me. I'm practicing. I'm also trying to repeat it. So am I. Brilliant. Good to know. Yes. I'm practicing. That's perfect. Yes. I want you to be practicing. This needs to be practical. Okay. Now, a sip of tea. Yeah. We need to keep hydrated. So remember, you need a beverage. For these classes, you always need the beverage, okay? Because, you know, your mouth does a lot of work. My mouth is doing quite a lot of work right now. So I just need to keep hydrated. Bear with me. Okay, yes. So Anna says, it's hard when we have those words in one sentence, but it's rare, luckily. Yes, absolutely. So, you know, the thing is, when we do pronunciation exercises, right, we need to remember that we deliberately making them hard for ourselves, right? Because in real life, it's going to be, we probably not going to see those words next to each other all the time, or that's going to be very rare, as you say. But that's the point of pronunciation exercises. And also when we practice pronunciation, we try to exaggerate, okay? So we're making those sounds big and long, and we try to experiment with the mouth as well, with the position of the tongue. What happens if we stick it out a bit? And what happens if we withdraw it? If we open the mouth a bit more, yeah, what happens? What kind of sounds are we going to get? Yeah, it's fascinating and I absolutely love it. So yes, I agree. When those words are in one sentence, it's hard, yeah? But that's the point, okay? We want to make it hard now to have it easier later. That's the point. Yes. Thank you so much. Okay, so now, yes, so with the TH sounds, obviously some people, even native speakers, they don't pronounce those sounds precisely as and v, right? Some people say t and th and the, and that's absolutely fine. But if your goal is to have a particular kind of pronunciation, you need to learn these sounds and make them automatic as well, okay? Now, let's take a step further, okay? It's not just about individual sounds. It's the way English works at, the sentence level, okay? So look at these. We've got sentences like this. What are you doing? What are you doing? Did you call her last night? I like the green bag, yeah? Now, in English, not every word is pronounced equally. Some words are stressed, some other words are reduced. The rhythm is completely different than in Polish, yeah? And when your brain doesn't hear that, your speech ends up sounding flat, yeah? Sounding kind of, overpronounced and also not very English. So what's important here, we need to remember that there are various processes that are happening as well when people speak English. When advanced speakers of English speak, they use something that we call connected speech, yeah? It basically means that words are linked within a sentence and some sounds change as well and some words are reduced. So instead of saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? You might hear, what you doing? What you doing? What you doing? Yeah? So that's important to know, because if you're expecting to hear, what are you doing? You're not going to hear it. You're not going to understand it. So most of the time, not most of the time, but very often you're going to hear, what you doing? What you doing? Yeah? What you doing later? Yeah? Did you call her last night? Yeah? Did you call her? Did you call her last night? Did you call her? So did you becomes did you? Did you? Did you? Did you call her? Yeah? We lose the initial H and we say, did you call her? So the word her, czyli zadzwoniłeś do niej, staje się, becomes only a schwa. Did you call her? Did you call her last night? Yeah? And then the last sentence has something very, very interesting, okay? So we, in English and in Polish as well, we've got something called assimilation, right? So it's when two sounds appear next to each other and they influence each other. So, for example, when we say, I like the green, the n sound, green bag, we've got b at the beginning, a bilabial sound, right? Sometimes you might hear, I like the green bag. So the n sound, yeah, n as November, as in November, changes into an m as in mother, green bag, because your lips are anticipating the next sound, yeah? And instead of saying green bag, because it takes a lot of effort, it becomes green bag. I like the green bag. Or the same thing with what was it? One box, right? You might hear one box, because it's easier, yeah? The lips are, we're lazy, basically, yeah? We're lazy people, and that's it. So, yes, that's exactly what we see in Polish speakers of English, yes? We see over pronunciation, trying to say every single letter. We see no weak forms, so words sound exactly the same way, sound equally strong as well. And Polish intonation being carried over into English. So that was reason number one, yeah? Now, your brain is hearing Polish sounds, not English ones. So that's important to remember. Now, you really need to think about what you're hearing, what you're listening to as well. Okay, let's go into reason number two, but let me check the comments first. Okay, bag. Sorry, there's a question here. Bag is the same as bad, sad, that, right? Yes, the same sound in bad, sad, and that, although that can sometimes be pronounced as that as well, yeah? So bag, bad, sad, that all have the same sound, the ash sound, ah, ah, ah. Yes, very good. Very good question. Okay, so let's talk about reason number two, okay? So reason number two is about imitation. So once you can hear the right sounds, yeah, you need to be able to reproduce them. So you need to be able to say them, basically, yeah? This is where most people get stuck because nobody ever showed them what exactly happens inside the mouth, okay? Now, the problem is that when people teach pronunciation, it's mostly native speakers who teach pronunciation because obviously it's their native pronunciation. So that's obvious that they're going to teach it. But sadly, they don't really understand what happens in your mouth when you speak Polish, right? So they can't really compare the two. They tell you, oh, this is what happens when you produce this sound, but we think that we're doing the same in Polish, right? And somehow still the sound doesn't come out right. It doesn't come out the English way, it comes out the Polish way. So this is why, when I teach people pronunciation, so for example, in my pronunciation course and my other courses, I tell them what happens, what's the difference between the Polish and the English sound, yeah? So I explain how it works and how it differs. So let's take one sound as an example, okay? Let's take a look at the R vowel, yeah? The vowel in these words. We've got a list of words here, like cart, part. Remember to say these words with me, okay? Repeat after me, please. Cart, part, calm. We've got the silent L in there. Calm, task, class, aunt, can't, yeah? All these words contain the long R sound in standard Southern British English, okay? In other accents, there might be slightly different sounds, okay? But in standard Southern British English, we say the long R sound in all of them. Now, this is a long open vowel, R. Now, there's going to be quite a lot of practice for you, okay? So make sure you practice with me and you do what I say, okay? Now, your mouth needs to drop open, yeah? Your tongue is flat and low, okay? And it's very different, yeah, than the Polish A sound. So try to say the Polish A sound as in the word anana, anana. That's a Polish way. Anna, ah. That's not the same sound. It's ah. The tongue needs to move to the back. Ah. You can barely see the tip of my tongue because it's moved back. Ah. Let's try Polish ah. English ah. Yeah, two different sounds. Now, imagine, that's my favorite example, really. Imagine you're on a stage and you want to sing a song. You want to sing Ave Maria. That's my favorite example. I always give it to my students. You want to sing the song and you're not going to sing it like this. Ave Maria, right? You're not going to sing it like this. You're going to sing it like this. Ave Maria, right? Because that's how opera singers sing. And that's what you want to do. You want to pull your tongue back, okay, and open your mouth wide and go, ah, ah. You need to drop it. Ah, ah, yeah? So another thing that you need to know about sounds are spelling patterns, okay? Once you know the spelling patterns, you can predict when the sound appears, right? So, for example, we've got the AR, yeah, with the silent R, obviously, in standard Southern British English. We also have AL, yeah, in some words like calm and calf and half, yeah. We also have the letter A, as in task, class, can't, and many others, dance, for example, as well, yes? So in certain consonant clusters, in words like task and class, yeah, we have the sound as well, okay? So these are the spelling patterns. Once you see them, you start to notice them everywhere, okay? So let me just check the comments quickly. Okay. Now, so the word calm is always without the li sound. We can pronounce this letter. I would suggest you don't. Some people do, yeah, some people do, but the model pronunciation is without the li sound. So that's my kind of piece of advice on this. I wouldn't pronounce the li sound. Now, hang on. Yes, so let's just put it all together, okay? And let's just try the sentence together. Part of the class task was to load the cart and stay calm. You go. Good. Hopefully you're practicing with me. Part of the class task was to load the cart and stay calm. Notice all the grammar words as well. Part of the class, yeah? Part of the class. I'm not saying part of the class task, yeah? I'm saying part of the class task, yeah? Class task, and task is going to be stressed, yeah? Was to load the cart and stay calm. Okay, good, good, good. Yes, I'm just checking the time. Okay, we still have a bit of time. Right, yes, so that's imitation, okay? You hear it, yeah? First you hear it, then you understand how it works, yeah? And you practice it, and you start to get there, yeah? You start to actually notice those things, yes? But you need a system for this. Surprisingly, I was quite successful. Well done. That was the point. Okay, that's the point, because you need to hear it. Someone needs to explain it to you, you know, because it's not easy just to listen to people around you, you know, and notice all these sounds and all these spelling patterns. Because obviously, if you're a British child and you go to school, in the UK, right, you're going to be taught all this. You're going to be taught how to speak English first, and then you're going to be taught how to spell it, because this is how children learn. Obviously, they learn to speak first, and then they learn to write. But in our case, we learned to speak Polish, and we learned to write Polish, right, to spell Polish words. Na pewno pamiętacie wszystkie dyktanda z RZ i CH i samocha i tak dalej. Because this is the, you know, the thing about Polish. But English children learn English, obviously, that's, you know, obviously they learn English. But when we're learning English, we start with reading most of the time. Unfortunately, we don't start with speaking. We learn, you know, words written down. So we really need to understand the relationship between the sounds and the letters, yeah? So there's the grapheme-phoneme relationship, which is important. Now, let's move on, okay? Hang on, I need to switch this off, okay? Now, yes, okay. So let's talk about reason number 3 now, okay? So the last reason, the last thing I want to mention to you is automation. And remember, or automation. It's not automation, just a side note, okay? Just, I wouldn't mean myself. Automation, yeah, automatic. You want to make your real-time speech automatic, yeah? This is the one that most people never even get to, okay? Automation. So, you know, look at this image here, right? So real people, real conversations, this is where pronunciation actually matters, okay? It doesn't really matter in a classroom, yeah? That's fine. We can practice at school or during a course, but really there's no reading out loud from a textbook here, okay? It's real time when you're thinking about what to say, listening to someone else, maybe feeling a bit nervous, maybe feeling a bit stressed, and you still need to sound natural, okay? Now, what I'd like you to do, I'd like you to build habits. So remember, first we listen, yeah, we hear things that we're supposed to hear. Number two, we imitate, yeah, so we say things out loud. And now we're building habits, so we're making things automatic, yeah. So muscle memory is very important because pronunciation is physical, okay? So your lips, your tongue, your jaw, yeah, they all need to learn these movements. And just like any physical skill, that takes repetition, yeah? The goal is to move the sound from your head into your body, so it happens automatically. You don't have to think about it. So we use short drills, okay? You don't need to practice for an hour. You don't need to sit down and, you know, spend hours and hours practicing, okay? A few minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, maybe even less, okay? It's far more effective than one big session a week, okay? So you don't have to be learning, you know, for a long time, just once a week. Start with the sound in isolation, then add a word, and then put the word in a sentence, okay? Keep it short and keep it very, very focused, okay? Now, shadowing is a very good way to practice pronunciation as well. And this is what I do in my course as well, okay? So I've recorded things for you to practice with, and you basically repeat after someone, but after you've learned what you're supposed to be repeating, not just repeating anything, okay? First, we go through the sound, we go through the word, we do the short drills, yeah? And then we do a bit of shadowing, yes? So we, in shadowing, we speak at the same time as the speaker, right? So we speak along with the person who's talking, not after, at the same time, okay? And it just forces your brain to stop overthinking and just, you know, it just lets your brain do it. Just move from practicing into actually speaking. Okay, now remember to practice one sound at a time. Obviously, if you prefer, you could do a bit of shadowing with everything, right? But if you're really learning through a system, focus on one sound at a time. Don't try to fix your entire accent overnight, okay? Pick one sound, work on it until it starts to feel natural, and then move on, okay? Then go to the next sound. It's important to keep it small and keep it consistent because, you know, when you're trying to do too much, it doesn't work. It just becomes a bit, you know, just overwhelming, right? It's just too much. So small, consistent wins are how habits are built, okay? I'm trying to build some other habits at the moment, okay? Like going to the gym and drinking enough water, things like that. And I know that it's better to do little things every day than to do things just, you know, once a week, and that's it. So that's the same with pronunciation, okay? The next thing is to record yourself, okay? I know, I completely understand, okay? Nobody likes listening to themselves. I absolutely hate, I used to hate I don't hate listening to myself anymore. I used to hate the sound of my voice. And you know that I record a lot because I record, on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, Facebook. I record courses, I record things for my students, so yeah, there's a lot I do with my voice. And then obviously I have to listen to myself, just to check if the sound is right, if, anything needs changing, things like that. So, recording yourself is one of the most powerful tools you have, okay? So record yourself, listen back and compare. It's very important to start hearing your own mistakes because, you're going to be there for yourself, okay? So if you learn how a sound is supposed to sound, you're going to be able to notice those changes in your own speech. Yeah. So your ear becomes more accurate over time. Yeah. So while you train and, a trained ear leads to a trained mouth. So you need to remember what we said at the beginning. We need to hear first in order to be able to say later. Yeah. So the last one is emotions. Emotions are really, really important. It's special, okay? And we're going to talk about it right now. So what I like doing as well is saying different things with different emotions, different contexts, okay? So we're going to try doing it right now, okay? So look at this sentence. It's quite natural. I don't know what I want to do tonight. I don't know what I want to do tonight. Yeah? What I want to do tonight. Very, very natural. Yes. Connected speech, reduced forms. This is what automation actually sounds like. Okay. Now, I'd like you to say the sentence a bit faster. Okay. Then say it emotionally. Then say it while smiling. Okay. Say it while looking away. Yeah, so you're looking away and you say the sentence, and then say it while answering another question. So perhaps you're talking to two people at the same time, okay? So here's how we automate it. We don't just repeat it like this. We don't say just, I don't know what I want to do tonight, yeah? We actually say it emotionally, yeah? So like you're frustrated or maybe you're excited. So we use these cues here to help ourselves and to help sound more emotional because your brain loves emotions and it remembers better when you say things emotionally. And also, you never speak in perfect conditions, right? Your brain is always doing a lot of things at once, yeah? So when you can say a sentence correctly while distracted, that's when you know it's truly automatic, yeah? So before I show you how I'd say the sentence in those situations, I'm just going to take a look at the comments here. Hang on. There's something happening here. Can you recommend anyone on YouTube we can imitate? I mean, with the way you speak, this British accent. So I like, and then this obviously, I can recommend Lucy and her courses. Thank you so much. And then Anna says, I have Lucy's course, but I was thinking about somebody to listen to and practice on YouTube, to practice shadowing, yeah? So what I like doing, the person I like, I really like Kate Winslet. And if you've got my courses, you know this, because I absolutely adore Kate Winslet and the way she speaks. So you can find some interviews with her and they're really good for shadowing as well. Yeah, so really good. And I'm really happy that you've got my course as well. Thank you so much. And yes, BBC podcasts as well. Yes, absolutely. Yes. But if you're looking for a particular person, actually, Anna, at the end of the pronunciation course that you've got, okay, there's a list of people you can shadow with, okay, because at the end of the pronunciation course, we've got a shadowing exercise with Kate Winslet, and then I recommend other people with really nice British accents as well, okay, so check it out. Okay, let's move on. Sorry. A sip of tea. Okay, now, yeah, so the sort of neutral sentence would be, I don't know what I want to do tonight. I don't know what I want to do tonight. Okay. Now, if I were to say it faster, I would drop the t in what. I wouldn't say, I don't know what I want to do tonight. Yeah. I'd say, I don't know what I want to do tonight. And the t at the end of tonight as well probably would be dropped. I don't know what I want to do tonight. Yeah. Now, let's say I'm emotional. I need a tissue for that. Yeah. I'm emotional. I don't know what I want to do tonight. That would be my emotional side. Yeah. Well, crying. I don't know, something happened and I don't know what I want to do tonight. Yeah. So have fun with it. Remember, because pronunciation is a bit like acting. You can change your personality slightly. You can change yourself a bit. Yeah. So now I'm going to say it while smiling. I don't know what I want to do tonight. That feels a bit weird. Why am I smiling when I'm saying the sentence? I don't know what I want to do tonight. Yeah, it sounds weird. Now say it while looking away. I don't know what I want to do tonight. That's brilliant. That's actually a really good way of practicing, because you're kind of looking away from the person who's speaking to you. It just feels like that in my head, right? And then say it, the last bit, the last bullet point is say it while answering another question. So I'm talking to a person here, and then this person is asking me, what you want to do tonight? Yeah. So I'm talking to someone here. Yeah. And I don't know. Yes. Oh, I don't know what I didn't want to do tonight. I stumbled because I actually got a bit stressed because there were two people in my head, obviously, two people talking to me at the same time. So imagine you're talking to two people and you have to say something. It creates a bit of stress, a bit of tension, which is good. It's good practice. Yes. Now, try to say the sentence in those different situations, okay? Just imagine all those situations and make them real for yourself. My imagination is wild, okay? So I can totally imagine someone's talking to me here, and then I have to say something to someone here, right? So this is easy for me. So I hope your imagination is as vivid as mine, and you can imagine it easily as well, okay? Now, let's zoom out for a second, okay? What's the real problem here? Most people spend their English classes and their English learning on, vocabulary, obviously, yes, grammar and reading and all these things. And those things matter, okay? They absolutely do. They're the foundation of a language, right? But most of the time, they don't cover things like sounds and rhythm and connected speech and word stress and sentence stress, weak forms in a sentence, natural pronunciation patterns, okay? And those are exactly the things that make your speech natural, okay? So you can rewire your speech habits. So you can change your speech habits. If at the moment you feel like there are certain things that you do, yeah, certain things that you say that you would like to change, you can change them. You can use the techniques we've talked about, yeah. You can use the reasons and sort of work out what you need to do, but I can show you the way as well, okay? Obviously, I'd like to recommend my pronunciation course. Przełączę się teraz na angielski, bo dochodzimy do końca naszego spotkania. Mamy jeszcze 10 minut i chciałabym Wam powiedzieć o kursie wymowy, którego cena idzie w górę od poniedziałku, okay? So, bo oczywiście angielskie słowa mi wchodzą natychmiast, jak tylko zaczynam mówić po polsku. Jeśli planujecie dołączyć do kursu, zapraszam Was bardzo serdecznie do poniedziałku, ok? Ponieważ wtedy cena idzie w górę i tam jest też jeden bonus dodatkowy, czyli 6 miesięcy dodatkowe na platformie. I oczywiście zapraszam Was bardzo serdecznie. Jeśli macie jakiekolwiek pytania o kurs wymowy, to też dajcie mi znać. A kurs to jest po prostu bardzo przejrzysta ścieżka, która Was bierze od oceny swojej wymowy przez wszystkie głoski angielskie. przez właśnie rytm, intonację, procesy connected speech, te procesy asymilacji, o których mówiłam również. I po prostu pokazuję Wam taki system, taką ścieżkę krok po kroku, coś, czego po prostu nikt nas nigdy nie uczył. Tutaj jest pytanie od Martyny, czy jak kupię, to od razu leci ten czas, czy dopiero jak zacznę kurs? Czas leci od momentu, kiedy kupisz kurs, bo jest on dostępny od razu na platformie, czyli po prostu od momentu zakupu kursu. Agnieszka tutaj pisze, już mam, jest świetny, wielkie dzięki. Bardzo się cieszę, naprawdę. Niesamowicie się cieszę, bo po prostu ludzie dołączają do tego kursu cały czas. Mamy już w tej chwili na platformie, nie pamiętam z głowy dokładnie, jakie to są liczby, ale do samego kursu wymowy dołączyło już tam ponad 1200 osób, czy coś koło tego. I to jest po prostu taka ścieżka, to jest po prostu coś, czego zwykle nas nie uczą w szkołach, ponieważ zwykle skupiamy się na gramatyce i na słownictwie, a wymowa jest gdzieś tam w małym pudełeczku na dole strony, prawda, chociaż powoli się to zmienia, ale wciąż nie ma takiego systemu, jak na przykład powtórka gramatyki, prawda? Powtarzamy wszystkie czasy, powtarzamy wszystkie konstrukcje gramatyczne, a z gramatyką to jest tak, że tych trudniejszych zagadnień gramatycznych da się uniknąć, prawda? Da się uniknąć. Można mówić bez inwersji, można mówić bez strony biernej. Oczywiście, jeżeli ktoś chce być płynny i mieć angielski na zaawansowanym poziomie, to absolutnie chce się uczyć takich rzeczy, ale można ich uniknąć. Natomiast jeśli chodzi o wymowę, to nie da się tego uniknąć. Po prostu nie da się tego uniknąć. Nawet w najbardziej podstawowych wyrazach są dźwięki, które są dla nas trudne, na przykład głoski TH, czy też na przykład głoska w wyrazach na przykład świat, world, prawda, albo girl, czyli dziewczyna. Więc nie da się tego uniknąć. Wymowa jest od początku obecna w naszej nauce i trudno, i nie da się jej po prostu ominąć. A ludziom się wydaje, że tej wymowy uczy się trochę tak przez osmozę, tak jakby bez jakiegoś planu, czy nie trzeba się na tym skupiać za bardzo i potem ci ludzie, którzy przychodzą do mnie z pytaniami o wymowę, zazwyczaj właśnie mówią rzeczy typu wstydzę się mojej polskiej wymowy, albo nie wiem, jak wymawiać podstawowe słowa, bo często jest tak, że spotykam się z osobami, których angielski jest zaawansowany, a one nie wiedzą, jak wymawiać aren't, prawda, albo can't, albo na przykład ja miałam też taką sytuację, przecież studiowałam angielski w Polsce przez 2 lata i miałam zajęcia z fonetyki oczywiście i tam się nauczyłam wszystkich takich rzeczy teoretycznych, prawda, typu bilabial, voiceless, plosive i tak dalej. Natomiast wyjechałam do Londynu później i trochę miałam problem, bo ja nie potrafiłam na przykład prawidłowo wypowiedzieć wyrazu doctor, prawda, czyli lekarz. Nie potrafiłam tego wyrazu prawidłowo wypowiedzieć, bo miałam naleciałości z amerykańskiego, co nie jest problemem samym w sobie, ale wyjechałam do Londynu, prawda? Więc takie rzeczy się dzieją. Słuchajcie, pokażę Wam, przepraszam, tutaj jest pytanie. Czy w kursie jest omówiona dokładnie wymowa, w sensie jak ułożyć język i usta, tak jak dzisiaj, że przy język trzeba do tyłu, to było tak, oczywiście, każda głoska jest szczegółowo omówiona i porównana z 2 innymi systemami, czyli z systemem polskim, okay? Jak ta głoska różni się w języku polskim, pomiędzy językiem polskim a wymową brytyjską, i jak różni się, jeśli jest taka potrzeba, jak różni się od wymowy amerykańskiej, bo jest też tak, że te same głoski są wymawiane inaczej w amerykańskim i w brytyjskim, więc jak najbardziej. Lucjan Lata, napisz do mnie proszę Cię z tym pytaniem na maila albo na Instagramie, ok? I sobie porozmawiamy. Tak, więc tak, odpowiadając tutaj na pytanie, czy w kursie jest omówiona dokładnie wymowa, tak, oczywiście, patrzymy sobie, jest taki diagram samogłoskowy również, który brzmi trochę strasznie, ale jest bardzo prosty i ja go naprawdę omawiam w bardzo prosty sposób, bo to jest obraz naszych ust i co się dzieje z naszym językiem, gdy jest wysunięty trochę do przodu, co będzie jak się cofnie, co będzie gdy troszeczkę przymkniemy usta, a co będzie jak je trochę bardziej otworzymy. To jest bardzo ciekawe, taka eksploracja swojego systemu, swojego aparatu artykulacyjnego jest też bardzo ciekawa i ogólnie pomaga w zrozumieniu, co się dzieje w naszych ustach, gdy mówimy po angielsku, prawda? I słuchajcie, pokażę Wam w ogóle, chciałabym Wam pokazać, tylko sekundkę, muszę sobie tutaj zrobić dzielenie ekranu. O tutaj. Okej. Słuchajcie, więc chciałabym Wam właśnie pokazać, co się w tym kursie ogólnie znajduje, ok? To jest właśnie strona, na której możecie sobie dołączyć do kursu, macie takie welcome video, w którym tłumaczę troszeczkę więcej. Więc tak, jeśli chcecie, żeby Wasz angielski nie brzmiał po polsku, to oczywiście jest to kurs dla Was, ok? Ale przejdźmy do tego, co w ogóle się znajduje w tym programie, ok? Tutaj przechodzimy sobie o tym, jak się uczyć wymowy, ok? Między innymi tak wyglądają też lekcje, prawda? Czyli mamy porównanie dwóch głosek. Tutaj akurat mamy głoski oraz czyli sque i nos. To są dwie różne głoski, a w języku polskim często są zastępowane po prostu jedną głoską bo taką mamy głoskę w języku polskim. My nie mamy rozróżnienia pomiędzy i Gdyby ktoś powiedział era albo era, to uznalibyśmy to za ten sam wyraz, prawda? Ewelina, uznamy to za ten sam wyraz, prawda? To są alofony. Natomiast w języku angielskim to są jednak dwie różne głoski, które zmieniają znaczenie wyrazów. Natomiast jeśli chodzi o to, co jest w tym kursie, to jest ogólnie nauka wymowy krok po kroku. Mamy dokładne wideo lekcje wymowy wszystkich dźwięków i to jest właśnie to, o co tutaj pyta uczestniczka, czyli wymowa wszystkich dźwięków i bardziej zaawansowanych aspektów fonetycznych, bo przechodzimy przez głoski, natomiast potem przechodzimy również do mowy łączonej, prawda, czyli takie bardziej zaawansowane aspekty. Są również ćwiczenia audio, które zawierają wyrazy z daną głoską oraz zdania. Są również zeszyty ćwiczeń, czyli takie workbooki, że tak powiem, zawierające wszystkie omawiane zagadnienia. One są dość spore, dość obszerne, bo po prostu zawierają wszystko, co znajduje się w kursie. Mamy również moje wsparcie i mentoring w programie, ponieważ raz w miesiącu spotykamy się na warsztatach takich na żywo, grupowych warsztatach na żywo, w czasie których można sobie po prostu na głos ćwiczyć i dostać feedback ode mnie bezpośredni, prawda? Czyli ja po prostu przygotowuję ćwiczenia, ćwiczymy sobie to wszystko razem i poprawiamy rzeczy na bieżąco, prawda? Więc jest dużo możliwości zadawania pytań, otrzymania feedbacku i tak dalej. I tutaj mam też kilka naprawdę świetnych opinii. Dostałam tych opinii bardzo dużo, tutaj wybrałam takie opinie, które najbardziej pokazują, co w tym kursie się znajduje, prawda? Tutaj na przykład Ilona pisze, że nic lepszego w tym zakresie na rynku nie ma, z czego jestem bardzo, bardzo dumna i bardzo się cieszę naprawdę, że Ilona tak napisała. Małgorzata, ten kurs to czyste złoto. Nie tylko wreszcie przestałam kaleczyć angielski, ale dzięki nauczeniu się prawidłowej wymowy nagle całkowicie zniknęła bariera przed mówieniem, którą miałam mimo zaawansowanej znajomości języka. To jest bardzo częsta rzecz, którą słyszę. Bariera przed mówieniem mimo zaawansowanej znajomości języka. No to jest, ja to doskonale rozumiem, ponieważ ja miałam dokładnie tak samo. Kiedy pojechałam do Londynu, myślałam, że mój angielski jest na zaawansowanym poziomie, ale się przeraziłam, bo musiałam się języka tak naprawdę uczyć od nowa, przez pryzmat właśnie wymowy, prawda? Tutaj jeszcze pokażę Wam program kursu, prawda? W tym module pierwszym wprowadzenie do kursu, tutaj się po prostu dowiadujemy, co jest w kursie, prawda? Jak korzystać z kursu i tak dalej. Tutaj uczymy się takich podstaw, trochę teorii, po to, żeby po prostu efektywnie potem przejść przez ten kurs, prawda? Mamy spółgłoski, samogłoski, robimy ocenę swojej wymowy, wyjaśniamy sobie różnicę pomiędzy wymową brytyjską a amerykańską, ze specjalistką od amerykańskiego z kolei Anną Klisz. Wyjaśniamy sobie też różnicę pomiędzy wymową a akcentem, a potem przechodzimy już takie naprawdę mięso, prawda? Czyli mamy samogłoski, część pierwsza, prawda? Uczymy się szła, uczymy się samogłosek, które brzmią jak polskie to jest to, o czym mówiliśmy wcześniej, samogłoski, które brzmią jak polska głoska i, Potem mamy samogłoski, które brzmią jak polska głoska O, jak głoska A, jak głoska U. Przechodzimy przez wszystkie samogłoski. Następnie mamy dyftongi, czyli te wszystkie O, prawda? Albo te wszystkie inne po prostu I, A i tak dalej, które brzmią bardzo, bardzo angielsko, prawda? Potem w module 6 mamy spółgłoski, część pierwsza, w module 7 spółgłoski, część druga. W module 8 zaczynamy już trochę bardziej zaawansowane rzeczy, czyli mowę łączoną, jak mówić płynnie, jak rozumieć native speakerów. W module 9 mamy część drugą mowy łączonej i moduł 10 jest to zakończenie, ok? Ale tutaj dodatkowo można sobie jeszcze zrobić bonusy, prawda? Czyli tutaj na przykład mamy ten sam tekst czytany przez osoby z różnych krajów. To są native speakerzy z różnych krajów, moi znajomi, którzy byli tak mili i nagrali mi po prostu ten sam tekst. I to jest genialne, bo można bardzo łatwo wychwycić te różnice w akcentach. No piękne to jest, naprawdę. Mamy również te 12 bonusów, 12 warsztatów na żywo. Raz w miesiącu spotykamy się na żywo i tutaj twoja metodyczka pisze właśnie, że te spotkania na żywo to ogromna wartość dodana. Bo naprawdę tworzymy, tak jak tutaj Melania pisze, że tworzymy społeczność osób, które wzajemnie się wspierają w drodze po piękną wymowę. Naprawdę to jest genialne, to jest świetna rzecz, kiedy spotykamy się w tej grupie. Część z nas już się też spotkała na żywo, mieliśmy też szkolenie, myślę, że nie ostatnie. To w bonusie drugim. Tak jak wspominałam, mamy zeszyt ćwiczeń do każdego modułu. Mamy również dedykowaną aplikację, można sobie pobrać aplikację na telefon i po prostu uczyć się, gdzie się chce, kiedy się chce. I mamy oczywiście też certyfikat ukończenia kursu, który można sobie pobrać. I dodatkowo można też sobie dołożyć moduły ekstra, ok? Jest moduł ekstra Business English Pronunciation, prawda, czyli jak brzmieć świetnie w pracy. Jest moduł ekstra gramatyka a wymowa, czyli patrzymy na wymowę od strony gramatycznej. Moduł trzeci, taki ekstra, który można sobie dołożyć, to jest Silent Letters, Spelling and Letter Pronunciation, czyli zrozumiałe literowanie, nieme litery w angielskim, wymowa poszczególnych liter w różnych kombinacjach. I ten moduł ekstra czwarty, Tricky English Pronunciation, czyli trudne wyrazy, które brzmią tak samo, łamańce językowe, wyrazy obce w angielskim, trudne końcówki. I ostatni moduł to jest moduł dla nauczycieli, czyli osób, które chcą uczyć wymowy i przy tym uczyć z pewnością siebie, tak? Więc zapraszam Was bardzo serdecznie. Jeśli macie jakiekolwiek pytania do mnie, to dajcie mi znać, ok? Ale przypominam, że ten kurswymowy.pl, zapraszam na stronę kurswymowy.pl, ok? Do poniedziałku, do północy jest w tej najniższej cenie, bo to jest takie szkolenie, przepraszam, nie szkolenie, tylko to jest kurs, to jest oferta dla osób zdecydowanych w tej chwili, tak? Więc zapraszam Was bardzo serdecznie. Widzę tutaj też uczestniczkę szkolenia na żywo, że szkolenie na żywo to była petarda, bardzo się cieszę i bardzo, bardzo się cieszę. Było fantastycznie, to prawda, bardzo mi się podobało i mam nadzieję, że to nie było ostatnie szkolenie, a Was wszystkich zapraszam do kursu wymowy. Jeśli macie do mnie jakiekolwiek pytania, piszcie oczywiście do mnie śmiało, tutaj wrzucam jeszcze link, ok, w czacie, ok, żeby można sobie było kliknąć. Dziękuję Wam serdecznie za dzisiaj i zapraszam na następne Power Hour za 2 tygodnie, widzimy się. Będę wysyłać maile, będę mówić na Instagramie, więc dzięki Wam serdeczne jeszcze raz za wszystko, za całą energię i do zobaczenia. Take care, have a good one, bye!